Hey Yogi, welcome. This is my essential yoga video specifically for those that are starting to arm balance in class. So if you are new to arm balances, this is a fantastic foundational video that'll introduce you to a arm balance pose called crow. So in crow pose, we have to have definitely strong arms because we are balancing on our hands. But in this series, you're going to uncover some of the other components, specifically core strength, as well as activating your legs to get into crow pose. Another thing about a lot of our arm balances in yoga is you actually have to have a lot of flexibility in your hips. So we will talk a little bit about that as we go into some poses that get us primed and ready to go so that we have a safe, healthy, and really fun arm balance practice. All right, so let's start on our back. So as we get into our practice, you may like to use a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, then find a firm pillow. For what we're doing today, you just need something that you can perch up on. So a firm pillow will do fine. Otherwise, a yoga block, if you have it, that's perfect. Great. So let's get started down on our back. Come on down. And as you get yourself situated, find a place where you can flatten your back, press your feet into the ground, and then just draw your belly button down. Draw your belly button down, and instead of thinking like crunch, like you're doing crunches at the gym, just think about corseting your waist or knitting in so that everything gets really firm. Good. So that is an activation that we'll need later on in our sequence to get some deep core strength. But another thing that we need to think about when we're going into a pose like crow is what is its basic shape? And its basic shape is a lot of hip flexion. So we'll start in a pose called Happy Baby. Take your hands either to your feet or to your ankles. And this pose right here actually mimics the shape of crow really well. So just spend a few breaths opening up into a Happy Baby shape. You may notice that one hip feels a little bit stiffer than the other. That's totally normal. And because this is a pretty deep hip pose early on, if you notice that you need to remove your hands and take them down towards your ankles or even your thighs, those are great modifications for this pose. Good. So we'll add in to this Happy Baby that core strength that we just found. So draw your belly button down towards your spine. You won't notice a big movement in your body, but you'll feel more firm in your midsection. Good. Take a few more breaths here. Good. One more inhale. And on your exhale, draw your knees to your chest. Keep your right knee in, just extend your left leg long. This will just help you open up the front of your left hip after that longer hold in a Happy Baby. Great. And then switch sides. Good. Hug both knees into your chest. Cross your ankles and start to rock. Rock a little bit back and forth. And once you've built a little bit of momentum, draw your feet underneath you, plant your hands, and then step back to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, press down through your hands, feel your sit bones rise up, and then engage your quads, so the front of your thighs, until you feel your thigh bones shift towards the back of the room. Then drive your heels low. Good. So here in downward facing dog, you are starting to warm and tone your arms and shoulders for your arm balance pose later. You can also find that core strength. Draw the low belly in. Stay nice and long through your spine. Let your legs start to turn on a little bit. So again, you can zip up the front line of your thighs. Find just a little bit of space. We'll use our hamstrings later, but right now we're giving them a nice stretch. Great. From downward facing dog, shift forward to a plank pose. So draw the belly in, lift up, and then broaden your collarbones when you come into your high plank. You want your body to be just like it sounds, a plank, one long line from your heels pressing back to your heart extending forward. If you find that you're way domed up or you're sagging down a little bit, press firm into your hands and pay attention to your low belly. You can always take a plank pose from your knees as well if this longer hold becomes too much. Good, so we're just gonna take a couple more breaths here in plank, getting strong and ready for our arm balance. So again, yes, it's an arm balance, but it's a lot of core strength that you need to find stability so that you're not making your shoulders do all the work. Good, one more inhale. And on your exhale, hinge forward and lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck your toes when you arrive, let your forehead plant down. Loop your shoulders down your back. We'll just take a little cobra pose. On your inhale, lift your chest, lift your gaze, let your elbows draw in. Hug your arm bones into your sides. You don't have a lot of weight in your hands in this cobra pose. One more breath in. Great, and on your exhale, shift back to child's pose. Let your knees be just a little bit wider than your rib cage. Extend your arms out and plant your forehead down. So just like happy baby mimics the shape of crow, so does child's pose. So you're just preparing your body for this shape. Good, 2 more breaths. Great. On your inhale, lift to a tabletop. And on your exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Step your feet together. And then bring your right foot forward, right next to your right thumb. You can come up onto your finger pads, strengthen your back leg, and then lengthen your chest forward. Draw your low belly in. So we're just getting our front hip warmed up, and we're also finding some core activation. So look for your fingers to be really light. Ask your legs and your belly to do more work than your shoulders here. Good. Now, plant your left hand. On your inhale, just reach your right arm up. And on your exhale, plant it down and step back. Downward facing dog. You can pedal out your legs a little bit. Good. Step your feet together and then bring your left foot forward. So your foot's right next to your left thumb. And if you stop short a little bit, you can just pick up your foot and plant it there. Stay strong in your back leg. Draw your heart forward. And again, let your legs activate, your core activate enough that you can become light in your hands. Just warming up now. The left hip, turning on the core, and asking our legs to be a part of the party. So it's not just your arms doing all the work in the arm balance. Great, ground the right hand and your inhale, reach your left arm up, big breath. And exhale, plant your hand, step back, downward facing dog. Open mouth, exhale. And then walk your hands back toward your feet. Let your core turn on, push into your hands. Take a little forward fold back of your mat, soften your knees. Drop your head, dangle your arms. Good. And your inhale, come on up to standing. Then we'll come into chair pose. So bring your feet, this time hips width distance to start. Put your weight back in your heels and take your hands to your heart. So just allow this first chair to help you balance outer and inner hip muscles. So if you notice that your knees are going wide, hug them in. If your knees are collapsing in, squeeze them out. Sit a little deeper and then lengthen your chest up to your thumbs. Good. Continue to lift the low belly. Stay long in your spine even as you sink a little deeper in your legs. So leg strength is actually really important in crow pose because our legs have to be able to hold themselves up as we're balancing. So we're just turning on some of those muscles right now. Good. On your next inhale, reach up and forward fold. Drop your head, dance out your hips a little bit to give your body some relief. Good. Then bring your feet together. Halfway lift your chest to lengthen out your spine. Fold, bow, then second set, chair pose. This time, legs are hugged together. And exhale your hands to your heart. So squeeze your thighs together. Sit your weight back into your heels and then lengthen your spine. So we'll add some rotation to this chair to continue our journey towards deeper core strength and prepare us for crow. Big inhale. On your exhale, turn to your right, hook your left elbow to your right thigh. Pull both sides of your waist long as you inhale. Press into your palms, turn as you exhale. If your neck allows, gaze to the ceiling. Otherwise, just gaze to the side. Good. On your next inhale, come through the center, reach up. And exhale, prayer twist, hands to center. Turn, right elbow to left thigh. If you notice all of your weight shifting to one side, press evenly down through both feet. Lengthen from your tail to your crown, then push into your palms, rotate to your edge. You won't turn indefinitely. There will be a stop. So when you find the stop for your spine, honor it, just breathe. Good. Great. Inhale, reach up, chair pose through the center, and exhale, forward fold. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider and pedal in your legs. Should feel like a nice amount of relief for the body after that longer hold in chair, which is essentially a squat. So if your legs are feeling on fire, there's a good reason for that. Good. Take a halfway lift, move your heart forward, let the back of your neck get long, and then come on down to your seat. When you get down to your seat, take your hands behind your thighs, dock your heels, and come into just a little shallow boat pose. So it doesn't have to be your biggest boat of your life, just be a small boat pose to start. Lift your chest, feel your spine getting nice and long. Good, so let's add a little extra heat to this, continue to prepare our core for crow pose. Draw your heels towards your butt. So squeeze them in. That's that hamstring that we're going to use later as we draw our heels up towards our tush and crow pose. So slide your heels in, lift them up off the mat, move your heart higher than your knees, and then tabletop your shins. Lengthen up through your crown. Breathe, yogi. If your hands feel light, send your arms forward. If your fingers are near your toes, take your peace finger to your toes. So right here, you might even notice this kind of looks like the crow pose shape. So we're mimicking that shape as much as we can as we go through this series. Take 2 more breaths. And release. Cross your ankles, come forward, plant your palms, and step back to downward facing dog. Good. If you need a little bit of movement in downward facing dog to readjust your body, go for it. Just take a few breaths. Good. On your next inhale, soften your knees, look forward. Then as you travel forward, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Sink your tailbone down into yogi squat. Bring your elbows into your knee pits into your elbows, and press your palms to your heart center. So for a lot of people, this is a posture in which couple things happen. Either they feel like they're shifting way far forward on their toes. If that's you, you just roll up your mat and slide it underneath your heels. Or you might feel like you're not stable and you need to root your tailbone onto something. If that's you, grab your firm pillow or your block and slide that right underneath your sit bones so you have a little perch. Right. So from here, you might notice, again, just like child's pose, just like our happy baby, this is a very similar shape to crow. So this will help us prepare our body further towards the posture that we're working on. Lengthen up through your crown, and just as much as you press your elbows wide with your elbows, hug your knees back into your elbows. So you're just turning on some muscles that you'll need nice and strong as you go up on your hands. Great. Take one more breath in. And release into a forward fold. Turn your toes forward. Sit your block down on its lowest setting. From here, bring your feet onto your block and bend your knees. So this might be new for you. Just getting used to this idea of standing up on this block and putting your hands down on the ground. If you have any apprehension about going into an arm balance, don't worry, that's normal. But your body is incredible and it can do a lot of really great things if you put your mind to it. So from this little perch, press into your hands and lift your butt up. That's the thing that's really important as you go up into your balance. You want your hips to stay high so that you can find a little bit of equilibrium or balance on your hands. From here, bring your knees to your outer arms, hug them in, and then just gently broaden your collarbones, just like you did in your yogi squat. And this might be plenty. So if you feel a lot of pressure in your hands, a lot of core strength, you can stay right here and practice this shape. Great. So if that's feeling just fine and you'd like to move on, plant your hands, lift your butt, bring your knees to your outer upper arms and start to hinge forward. Press into your fingers, but gaze forward. If you look down, you'll go down. From here, lift a heel towards your tush, activate your toes, and then do the other side. Make your foot active. This will help you find some leg muscle strength. And exhale, come back down. Great. So if you're ready to pick up both feet, here we go. Plant your hands, lift your tush, bring yourself forward. Now, press your heels together and start to curl your feet towards your butt. Know that you can always touch a toe back down if you need to. Good. Gaze far forward, hug in. One more breath. And exhale, release. Nice job. Come off your block and take a seat. Before we move on, let's just give our wrists some relief. Good. Send your right hand forward and send your fingertips down. Gently pull your hand back towards your face. Your heart rate might be up. Anytime you stand on your hands or you do a new challenge pose, it's a little bit exhilarating. So you can use this time to slow down your breath. Good, and do the other side. Send your left hand out, turn your fingers down, gently pull your hand back towards your face. Good. And we'll open up our shoulders, take your hands behind you, plant your feet, reverse your tabletop. So similar to bridge pose, but your hands and your feet are on the ground. Push your arms nice and long so that you can stretch in the front of your shoulders. Stretch out your chest just a little bit. Take another breath in. And exhale, return to your seat. Cross your right arm in front of your chest. Use your left arm to draw it in. Stretch into your shoulder. Great. Switch to the other side. Left arm across your chest. Use your right arm to hug it in. Stretch into your shoulder. Good. And then last but not least, interlace your fingers behind your back. Loop your shoulder heads back and press your bound knuckles towards the floor. Open up across your chest. So we're just bringing a little bit of balance back into the shoulders after all of that hard work. Moving towards crow and taking flight. You remember, it's not really about whether or not you ever bring your toes off the ground. It's the work you put into your body on the journey that is going to help you feel more confident in your yoga practice as well as stronger. So know that any work that you did today is really good work. Good. Release your hands, take a couple shoulder rolls. So you did a really great job, Yogi. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for taking on the challenge of working towards crow. I hope you find this video super duper helpful as you continue your journey to more arm balances in your practice. If you like this essential yoga video, I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, namaste.
We at Wellness Plus specialize in all things health and wellness, ranging from yoga and fitness to massage and ASMR. Whether you are looking to target specific areas of tension or want to enhance your general self-care routine, we provide the tools you need to feel better, look better, and live better. We have courses for every level, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro. Our courses provide a wide range in difficulty to accommodate your evolving flow.
Welcome back to Yoga with Jess. We are going to break down some really essential postures.
We are going to rock out with some of the most essential ab exercises that you need to have the abs that you've always dreamed of.
I've blended techniques to help you connect with students, and you can be a rock star teacher.
Wellness Plus is available on your phone, tablet, or TV. Join Wellness Plus today and get your first 7 days free.